like you look at the evidence and there's just no evidence that Andrew Jackson was there. So, I mean, it sounds good. It's like, oh, the soon-to-be president went up there to fight a ghost. Yeah, when you look at the evidence, it's just like, first of all, you just go, what? It's like Barack Obama back in 1998 going to the Westchester House in San Diego and to go fight whatever's supposedly haunting there. It was like, let me be clear.
That's a no.
You ghosts are gonna leave, or it's gonna be problems.
That's a no.
Yeah, or Jimmy Carter seeing a UFO in the Georgia sky, which, according to Jimmy Carter, actually happened.
Now that might have happened. That, I can't say.
He said that he did. He did see a UFO.
I mean, just because he said it don't mean it happened, but it might have happened.
yeah. He saw something weird. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say he didn't see something weird.
Right.
But yeah. But yeah, this no.
Everybody is under the agreement that what was at a time considered to be a pretty serious story, a likely story that people, told additional versions of. The predominant view now is, of course, this did not actually happen.
Right. And also during this time, it's also like, because the ghost is mainly targeting Betsy, the I believe she was the youngest daughter, because there's another daughter in the story that they never, that the ghost never, they said no one ever reported a ghost ever messing with her.
And it seemed odd, right? Because the ghost had such an affinity toward the mother. I don't know. Like I said,
it never bothered the mother.
Being told, but it not even ever bothered her. It like favored her.
Yeah,
it would bring her gifts and whatnot.
Yeah, it did. The ghost did bring the mother gifts and stuff. It didn't bother the youngest sister at all. Actually, kind of what reports I get, they kind of ignored her. Couple of the sons that, unless the ghost was challenged by them, they wouldn't bother them or just lightly mess with them. But mainly it was the venom was pointed to Betsy and the father, John Bell Sr. Yeah. And during this time, Betsy had fallen in love with this young man who also experienced some of these things when he came over, a guy named Joshua Gardner. And the ghost did not, like, Betsy wanted to marry Joshua.
They're engaged, yeah.
They want, he proposed. She said yes, she really wants to do this. Mind you, that she's 13.
I mean, that was the norm. That was the norm.
Yeah, that was the norm.
The effect wasn't any different, but that was, it was done. It was normalized by them, by people.
Right. But this entity, the Bewitch, did not like Joshua. It did not want Joshua to marry Betsy, and did everything. It did everything to break up that break up that relationship, and it ended up happening that Betsy and Joshua broke off the engagement, and she never married Joshua during that time. But not only is it that she's targeting Betsy with the slaps and getting involved in her life, it's setting her sights on the senior John Bell.
Right.
So the disturbances started to decrease after Betsy and Joshua's engagement ended, but the entity continued to display disdain for John Bell, relentlessly vowing to kill him. Bell had been experiencing episodes of twitching in his face and difficulty swallowing for almost a year going on. And this illness grew worse with time. By the fall of 1820, his declining health had confined him to the house, where the malicious entity continuously removed his shoes when he tried to walk, slapped him in the face when he recovered from numerous seizures. After the shrill voice was heard over the farm, cursing and chastising old Jack Bell, the nickname she had given.
He did something.
Yeah,
that sounds like some payback.
Yeah. John Bell. So finally, this was going on for well over a year. John Bell's getting sicker and sicker and sicker. Then he's confined to a bed. He can't walk anymore. He then breathed his last breath on the morning of December 20th, 1820, after slipping into a coma a day earlier. Immediately after his death, his family found a vial of strange black liquid in the cupboard. John Jr. sprinkled 2 drops on the cat's tongue. The cat jumped up in the air, rolled over in midair, and was dead when it hit the floor, according to John Jr.
Oh, no.
I gave old Jack a big dose of that last night, which fixed him. The witch
came around the corner and said, that's what I gave old Jack.
Yeah. Fuck you. It went off.
That's a lot.
Then, according to John Jr., John tossed a mysterious vial in the fireplace and burst into a bright blue flame and shot up the chimney. John Bell's funeral was one of the largest ever held in Robinson County, Tennessee. People attended from miles away, and 3 preachers, 2 Methodists and a Baptist, utilized them. As the crowd of mourners began leaving the graveyard, the Bell Witch entity laughed and sang a song about a bottle of brandy. Her fabulous singing didn't stop until the last mourner had left the graveyard. The entity's presence, brandy. Okay. Yes, singing about a bottle of brandy. The entity's presence was almost non-existent after John Bell's demise, as it fulfilled its purpose.
Oh, wow. And so that sounds like the John Bell's demise was its purpose, is what that sounds like.
Yeah, it was, according to this is what this witch wanted. But God, that's just a ghost.
What? I'm sorry.
A ghost supposedly killed a man. I'm still trying to give it off.
I mean,
killing a guy.
And so that was interesting. So is this, and I think you said a little bit in the beginning, was this one of the? Because I don't think it would be, but is this supposed to be one of the first instances where a ghost is literally given the responsibility of killing somebody, as opposed to, driving the person insane for them killing themselves or something else like that?
This is the first and only case that they consider an entity, an unknown entity, a mysterious entity, or a some sort of paranormal phenomenon directly responsible for the death of a person. Mm-hmm. Like if it wasn't for this entity's actions, particularly, this person would still be alive.
Right.
That's what they're saying.
Okay.
So yeah. Yeah. So what caused this?
What caused it?
Yeah, caused this?
So what I didn't get was any kind of information about the ghost itself.
Okay.
Kind of like you said, what not necessarily what caused this particular haunting, but where did the ghost come from?
There's multiple explanations of where this ghost came from. The most popular story is that the Bell Witch was a curse brought down upon John Bell from one of his, I guess, neighbors, or I mean, this person was adjacent to his property, so I guess you could say neighbors. A woman named Kate Batts. Now, Kate Batts was a real person. She had controlled. She controlled of this farm that was near her. Just controlled this farm that was near the Bell farm, and supposedly they were distant relatives also. Kate Batts and John Bell, because during that time, everyone, even like some southern states, even continuously today, everyone's related to everybody.
Right.
But it's supposedly the John Bell was just a cousin of Kate Batts. So I guess there was some sort, and she was in charge of this farm. Her husband was confined to a wheelchair because of a accident when he was younger. Younger when they first got married, and she was also a slave holder, I believe, of 3 to 5 slaves too. But she wasn't this rich plantation owner like you see in media, like people who owned slaves back then, this large plantation. No, there was people who were middle class or lower middle class who also owned people.
Right.
During that time too. Like John Bell was not, even though he had a lot of acres, he wasn't like this Southern antebellum property owner, slave for senior. No, he was like upper middle class, like lower upper class. But Kate Batts, she was eccentric. What people describe her as, she was eccentric. She was pretty much the term I think they give her during that time is someone who won't take any shit.
Right.
Like from anybody. Which it's admirable, even though she's a fucking person who owns other human beings, and I couldn't give a fuck about that. Fuck her. But she was like, look, yeah, I'm a woman and I'm big and I'm sassy and I'm not going to take your shit. And so she had a property dispute with John Bell. He claims he owned this property that was on her land, and she's like, no, I'm not going to be bullied by you. So supposedly, as the legend goes, she put a curse on John Bell that this entity would haunt them, and supposedly this entity had taken the name Old Kate Batts Ghost or Old Kate Batts Witch.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So
this is the person that was this is the person that was what's the term, stuck on to someone because someone felt like they were being someone was offended by his actions.
Yeah, they were offended by his actions, and that like even John Bell, like even according to like historical analysis, that John Bell thought that Kate Batts was the one doing this, and she denied it. She was like, "I don't want nothing to do with you. Get the fuck away from me. You're crazy."
The witch itself said, "Call me Kate."
Yeah, the witch did at one time say, "Call me Kate." Call me Kate, motherfucker. Call me Kate. And people generally believe that, yeah, it's Kate Batts' ghost. Like she's the one that sent the witch. And they go on about that. There's no evidence, like, again, she was a real person, but there was no evidence that she had said anything. I mean, these even issues of why they call it a witch. Like the reason behind them giving the Bell hauntings the witch name dates back to early 1800s and what the settlers considered almost anything that baffled them to be witchy.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
including these things could have been something that actually happened that nobody had a response to, or they could be for the purpose of attacking the person, whether it be a woman, whether it be a non-white person, whether it be a person not of their religion. So it could be, it was used as a tactic of really not knowing what was causing something, or literally knowing that as soon as they brought out the term witch or brought out the term ghost, that they could cause something negative to happen to somebody.
Yeah.